Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Hungary. It's the F2 time, so that means it's going to be the one-shot qualifying, followed by the 25% feature race, and then the 25% sprint race with the top 8 reversed. I'm Ben Rugger McConnell, and joining me on the casting desk is the awesomely, supremely cool Mr. Safso. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm alright, actually. I quite like that intro. They're the awesomely, supremely cool.
Yes, that was a very complimentary intro. I liked it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
But I need to throw you under the bus. Sorry. Poll, please. 1, 2, 3.
For poll, I'm going to go Beaker, 1, 2, 3, Beaker, Piloto, bot asking.
Well,
unless they've already invalidated.
I can tell you it's not WG Players. He may have just had a spin coming through turn 1, so he's not invalidated, but he's not doing well. I'm actually going to go Bottas Gang because I've seen his time trial time. He is crazy fast here. So Bottas Gang on pole, Beaker P2 potentially, and then Piloto Pi P3, I think.
Very reasonable top 3.
Now, Bottas Gang obviously out there currently on the track. I actually wanted to go fully on board with him as we come through the second sector. Not a very long track this is in the F1 cars you're looking at around about a 1:14 being like a decent time, so we'll see whether or not the guys in the F1 can do that. In the F2s it's obviously going to be considerably slower. I think we're talking a 1:24-25 sort of territory, being crazy fast. But yeah, Bottas Gang really is sticking it to pole position as it stands. Piloto Pi and Beaker keep swapping places, so it's literally going to be a fight between the two of them for second place. Now think, well, you go back to my prediction. I said Beaker P2, Piloto P3. It's currently the other way around as Bottas Gang comes through the final corner. Now the exit needs to be smooth, and it is. The DRS wing wide open as he comes across the line. He will take pole, and it's Piloto Pi taking P2.
And Bottas Gang has taken pole by a whole second. Yeah. Look at that.
I said he was fast. Like his pace in time trial was crazy quick. Like that, it was insane. Bear in mind, this is his first week back, voice crack. First week back for quite some time. He hasn't done F2s in a long time, but when he was last here, he set the perfect weekend. He did the one-shot quality and got the fastest, the most points. He then won the first race and got fastest lap, and then won the second race and got fastest lap. No one else has ever done that before. So Bottas Gang getting him on pole today with the 4 points, looking to replicate his feat that he achieved last time. Piloto P2, Beaker P3, Landers Millen P4, Kulmanik P5, Foxy P6, Aeterno P7, Marquez P8, Toto P9. Matt rounds out the top 10 with Hayden Gullis. Quite out of the ordinary, actually. Outside the top 10, P11.
Yeah, who knows? He may have made a few mistakes in his lap. We weren't on board with him.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he can make up some ground in the first race.
Well, yeah, the problem is this is not an easy track to do overtakes on. Let's be truthfully honest. This is a very, very difficult track to overtake on. It's not quite as hard as Monaco. There is still the home straight you can do it on, and I guess you kind of can do it in towards turn 2 and maybe turn 3, 4, but you know, this is a very, very, very difficult circuit to actually try any sort of crazy overtakes in, but we'll see. But 15 seconds to go before we get underway with the formation lap here in the feature race. You've seen quali. What's your 1, 2, 3 for the first race?
I think it's going to keep order. I think it's going to be Bottas Gang, Piloto, Beaker.
See, I want to believe, but I don't. I think Bottas Gang will take the win. That's pretty clear cut. I mean, the only way he doesn't is if he gets involved in some sort of contact on the early stages. But I don't know. It's heavily reliant on Beaker not getting caught up in any issues. Piloto Pi gets penalties. This is a track where penalties are pretty easy to get, so I think he will lose out due to that. I actually think Hayden Gullis is going to make a miracle comeback. I actually think he's going to make a crazy comeback and get himself on the podium. I don't think he's getting the win. I think Bottas Gang is going to be in the lead by quite some margin. But I do think Hayden Gullis will get P2. P3, though, that's kind of where I don't really know. I have seen Landers Millen being quick, but he told me he's not feeling very good today. I have seen other people being crazy quick, like Foxy, for example, who's done a fantastic job in the past to actually get some really solid points. I think he actually won the sprint race last week. I may be wrong. Aeterno definitely had a really good run as well, so he's also in with a shout. I just can't decide who I want for P3.
So you're saying for P1 and 2, Bottas Gang and Hayden?
Yeah. P1, 2, Bottas Gang, Hayden. P3, I guess Aeterno or Joe, as we call him. I really don't know.
That would be a very nice podium, wouldn't it?
It'd be amazing. But I mean, we're reliant on the likes of Bika. You know, that's a very strict scenario I've given myself there. I'm basically saying Pelotopai is going to get a hell of a lot of penalties. I'm also saying Bika is going to get caught up in some sort of issue that's going to knock him further down the grid. Looking around it, Kulmanik has the potential. Lando's Milkman, if he's feeling fine, yes, I would have absolutely put him in that top 3, but he's not feeling great. He's also saying he's got the shakes from not having enough food, so there's something else that kind of doesn't help you when it comes to driving. You need to be steady, especially in these F2 cars.
Yeah. It's actually because disqualified cold tyres. That's not going to bode well for him. So he's going to have a poor start compared to the rest. There's actually been a few disqualifications. Could that be a little decisive for some incidents today?
Possible. It is very possible. That's the thing. This is a track that is very difficult to overtake, and people will get desperate, especially with only having 9 laps here on this circuit. I expect people to be going for a little bit of yeetus as we're coming into this turn 1, turn 2 complex. We'll see. Here we go then. The lights are ready to get cracking then. Here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Bottasgang is on pole position. We know that for sure, and he's looking to get a fantastic start in towards turn 1, but it is a long road up there. And it's go time here in the F2s at Hungary, and it looks like Bottasgang's had a fantastic start. It's not quite the same there for for Beaker, I believe that is, who's fallen right down the order. He's way down there in P7 now. He's lost out massively.
Yeah, he's trying to come back on the outside. There are a few people diving down the inside. I haven't seen any spins so far. So they've kept it nice and clean. Matt's been losing a bit of ground. Hayden Gullis looks like he's in a position or two.
It says that it was Bottasgang, but it isn't. It is in fact Matt who's had a bit of an off there. Oh, he's really struggling with the back end of that car. He's trying his best to keep himself alive. Where's Beaker? He's lost out massively. He's right down at the back.
What happened to him? Did he have a spin that we didn't see? Or at least I didn't see.
I think Hayden's actually higher up than you think. He's currently P7, according to what I can see. No, that's Marquez I'm looking at, sorry. Hayden's P8, there you go. He's actually looking for the inside of Toto. This is a bit of a send here. He's going to surely have collision, a little bit of contact between the two of them, but this is going to allow Ayrton to potentially slip down his inside, but not yet. It's going to be a little bit longer before we see a move like that done.
Yeah, and actually Hayden passed Eterno earlier on in the lap, so I'm sure Joe's going to want to try and get the position back, looking for any sort of weakness in Hayden's entry or exit. Nothing so far, as you say, it's very hard to overtake here. So he's going to have to wait for the perfect opportunity or for Hayden to make a mistake.
Speaking of mistakes, who is that? Is that Toto? Yes, it is. Toto ahead has had a bit of a backhand kick out. Same for Matt, who has had a rotation, reset himself onto the grid, and we are back on the track once more. Kulmanik looking for Foxy now, coming in towards turn 1. DRS is definitely not enabled. I know it says it is. I know that it says lap 3. We are, in fact, on lap 2, so ignore all of that for now. But one thing you can tell is that the position changes are, in fact, correct so far. Foxy is up 3 places. So is Hayden Gullis. But Marken, with 4 places gained, he's so far your biggest winner.
Yep, and he's not too far away from Eterno. So if that 3-way battle for 7th rages on, as Torto's made another mistake. Here comes Hayden around the outside. That might not end well. They've given each other space, though, and look at Eterno. He's looking for the outside of Hayden now on the exit. The two side by side. Don't touch that curb, it'll spin you out. And it looks like Eterno's got the position, but Hayden's not going to back off. He's going to want to try and keep this down into the chicane. Oh, he's lost the rear.
But
he's actually kept it held.
Yeah, he's caught it. I mean, Marken's actually around the back of him as well here, so there is a chance that Marken could potentially gain some places. Remember, going into the sprint race, the top 8 are the ones that get flipped and reversed. So you want to be, if you're in this position, you want to be P8, which is why Hayden's getting a little bit aggressive. However, it's a bit too early for that, I think. You know, wait for that DRS. Try and get yourself a nice little scrap going later on, but don't do it in the corners. All you're going to do is separate the grid, and you're going to allow yourself to be lost out. Who is that? Foxy's had a spin. Kulmanik, they've both had contact, and that's resulted in them falling down the order.
And Kulmanik's got a penalty, so that's not going to help him at all. He's probably going to finish outside the points now, and he's coming into the pits. That very well might be a retirement or a pit to repair damage.
Yeah, I can't see his car, unfortunately, to work out if he does, in fact, have damage, but he did take it nice and easy in there, so I highly doubt he's going to be retiring from this Grand Prix. Hayden Gullis looked like he went for a bit of a lunge, or at least he got outbraked, because he went very deep in towards turn 1. And he's coming through now. He's still there to an extent within the DRS of Eterno. The gap is still only 7/10, but It's so easy to lose. Oh, he almost loses the back end. Oh, that was Markin, sorry, that almost lost the back end. Kulmanik has retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, so one of the possibilities we thought of does it almost seem like Hayden's being a bit desperate at the moment with him trying to get past Eterno?
Yeah, but I don't know why. That's the thing that doesn't make sense. I just wish I could understand what caused him to feel so desperate, so pressured. He was fine before. All he had to do was just continue as he was. I think Beaker got disconnected, by the way, at the very beginning of the session, which is what caused him to fall so far back.
Okay.
He is, I believe, now back, so that's why he's on the back end here of Markin. This is going to be a send, surely. Markin's trying to cover him off a little bit. Late on the brakes is going to be Beaker, but he's not going to go too late because he needs to make sure he gets the inside line, and he has. Bit wide there on the exit means Markin will still keep the position for now, but round the outside, this is going to be very difficult to maintain, and that's why he backs off, because he knows realistically, the home straight is the place to do majority of the overtaking. Same sort of scenario as what Hayden is going to be doing here, because look at the gap that Joe has to Foxy. It is more now than what Hayden has to Eterno. There are 2 DRS zones, but only 1 detection zone, so Hayden will have the DRS again coming through from turn 2 to turn 3.
Yeah, it's because got past Merkin, but he's not been able to handle the brakes very well. Oh! I think there's been, yeah, the unfortunate glitch where on one person's end they're ghosting, on the other they're not. And so contact happens despite the fact that there shouldn't be. So that has allowed Beaker to be now behind Merkin again, and he will not be a bit happy about how that turn 1 ended up. No,
exactly. We are back now with Toto, who's kind of hanging in on the back of Marquez here. This is for P4, remember, because yeah, the gap to the leaders, the top 3, sorry, is very equal. They are all about 3.5, almost 4 seconds away from each other. Bottas gang has just bought a one-way ticket to freedom. He's out. He's peaced out.
Yeah, he's way ahead. He's got fastest lap. His gap to Pelotas is actually bigger than Pelotas' gap to Lando's now, so he just needs to not get any penalties. He'll be home and dry, on course to maybe get another perfect weekend. And imagine if he does it at Hungary of all tracks.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Toto is lagging all over the place, so it's going to be a bit of a scary moment now for Foxy, who's very close to the back of Toto, but it's also scary for Marquez, because he is leading this little train that we've got going on here from P4 right the way down to P7. Hayden is just on that limit there for the DRS. He did get it, he has got DRS, but now he's going to have to fly like an eagle as Toto's gone on the inside of Marquez. A very tight line in towards turn 1. Is this going to allow Marquez back through? Yes, it is. Marquez will in fact get his full car back in front. And Toto not using DRS for the second time?
No, I think he used it that time, but I did notice he didn't use it for the first bit of the first straight. Oh, nearly spinning out from contact with Marquez. Keeps it forward, but now look at Foxy. He's sizing up Toto for a move.
He's going to go for it. He's not going to... Oh, he has backed out. I was going to say he's going to send it, but no, he's decided against it. This is great news for Hayden Gullis, because this little train that's fighting here will allow him to get right back into the DRS, which is exactly what he's done. And now recovery is on the line here. He needs to get a move on in order to try and take one of these guys up. The only problem is that Foxy is right on the back of Toto, can feel the pressure from the cars behind him, especially because these guys, so Foxy, Eterno, and Hayden will be in voice chat together. All of them will be, you know, trying to taunt each other and get in each other's head, and Foxy is one to not necessarily cave under the pressure, but not always deliver when the time is needed.
Yeah, and this train is just really hurting them, because look at Beaker, he's actually starting to catch up now as well. After he has now got past Merkin, he's just catching up, and if he wants to have a chance in the second race, surely he's going to have to try and get that 8th from Hayden.
Well, Foxy and Toto are literally going side by side. Eterno can smell blood down the inside. Here he comes then, trying to get the exit of Dreams. He's not quite got it, but now we are going to have a huge tow. Toto is going to be a sitting duck here. No DRS available for him. Foxy's going to follow him into the slipstream. Foxy's going to come back out wide for the outside line. And oh, down the inside there, Joe Eterno surely cannot pull this one off. He's going to have a little bit of wheel bump in there with Foxy. Hayden Gullis trying to get the run of Dreams through both of them. He cannot quite get it. Foxy and Eterno now they're wheel to wheel. Toto's running away.
Yeah, Toto's definitely getting the most out of that, but look at Hayden, he's just looking to see who complements the line more. Hayden's had a poor exit, but he's still looking at Foxy. No, he's not going anywhere just yet. And again, like I was saying before, Beacon now just over a second behind, and Hayden is really getting desperate now.
Yeah, there was even contact between the two of them, but no damage on either car. The back end there is a bit lively for Hayden Gullis. He needs to keep that car under control if he wants to gain that position. He is P8, so he will be starting on pole for the second race. This is now a chance for him to redeem himself. He's had... He saw on Twitter, actually, that Hayden posted saying he hasn't had a great sprint race ever. He has had fantastic feature races, but this time it looks like it might be the opposite way around. It looks like he's going to have a horrible feature race and a great sprint race, although I have now jinxed it, so wait and see. Hold the phone. The train for P4 has just been extended a little bit because now Beaker's on the back of this, and Hayden Gullis and Ayrton are going side by side. Beaker's just sort of hanging in on the back of this, wondering what they're doing, because Beaker now can get a really smooth exit. He takes a wide line through there just to make sure he gets a really good controlled run. And now look at the train. You've got a little bit of a fight going on up ahead for P4. That is Toto trying to go for it as well. Hayden Gullis looking around the outside. Beaker's going to go into the inside here on Hayden Gullis. A tight line is needed in order to get the run out of the corner. Hayden has lost that position, but he is still hanging in just a touch. Beaker might even go for a move here on Ayrton. No, he's decided against it. Hayden going around the outside. This is the desperation we were talking about. You don't need to try this.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, it made a bit more sense because it was for P8, but it was like you were saying before, just wait for the RSMs, wait for the safe place to do it, don't risk trying to get penalties as he's just done now.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit flustered, I think, now. That's ultimately what it's come down to. But Beaker has redeemed himself a little bit. He is in a great position to effectively close back in as we lose Matt now on the retirement. Remember, Beaker was P3 at the point of when we did the qualifying. At the start of the race, he obviously got disconnected. He's rejoined, and he hasn't given in. This is a very fired-up Beaker that we like to see.
Yeah, and now on the back of the Eterno, you've got to think he's looking for a run at turn 1. Meanwhile, Foxy just doing some casual grass cutting on that corner. So that's not going to help his grip at all.
Yeah, I saw that. That was an interesting line through there. I think it was more a contact diversion. So fair play to him. I don't think it's the end of the world. But now look at Tortor. He's under pressure from Marquez. Fox is going to be seeing this as well and seeing if he can recover anything and maybe even get a P4 out of this. You got Beaker ready to go on Joey Eterno. He's not going to get the inside line, that's for sure. It means he's going to have to take the outside. I've seen a little bit of rotation there for Marquez. There was a bit of contact between him and Tortor, which kind of scared Marquez a little bit. Beaker couldn't quite get the line around the outside of Eterno, and he's going to slot back into P8. And again, Hayden Gullis trying to close in the gap that he's got already as Ravenduck gets a penalty.
Yeah. And really, Hayden's only saving grace at this point would be a penalty, wouldn't it? Hope that one of the guys who gets a penalty, he gets ahead, he still gets in top 8. Otherwise, it's not looking great for him at the moment, and he is going to have to solely rely on the sprint race being good.
Yeah, exactly. It is a bit of a problem here for him. I think I may have jinxed Hayden earlier. Foxy gets himself a penalty. This is good news for Hayden a little bit, because he may be able to, if Foxy gets overtaken by both Joe and Beaker, Hayden may have a chance, but it's a very slim one. Here comes Ayrton now. He's seen a line through here, and it's just not quite the one he needed, and that's actually giving a little bit of a nudge there into Foxy. Foxy runs out wide. Toto gets a penalty as well, so it looks like Marquez and Ayrton will be jumping as Beaker's going to go for a move down the both of them. That was never going to work out. How did he think? Hayden's jumped up to P7. This is massive now. Beaker's going to slot down in P8. Joe Turner's lost down, gone down to P9. That was a 3-wide move that did not need to happen.
Yeah, we were saying about Hayden being desperate. Everyone seems a bit desperate at the moment. And now all Hayden needs is Beaker and O'Turner to get penalties, because I believe they're both in his penalty range at the moment.
Yeah.
And then he'll keep P7.
Well, Joe is almost out of that. He's a 1.8 behind Hayden as it stands. I mean, that's not going to make any difference. Bottas getting a penalty will only bring him to 6-second lead rather than his current 8.5, which is just insane.
I don't get how he pulls that much pace in literally 9 laps.
I don't know. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Beaker is closing in on the back of Hayden. This is going to be a side-by-side move that you... Oh, Hayden squeezing him. And now Beaker's trying to retaliate. He's trying to just hold himself on the track. Hayden runs off deep again, and that's another warning almost certainly for him. Beaker's going to be trying his best to close right back in again. Hayden definitely getting his elbows out, and Beaker's not one to shy down from a little bit of a fight.
Yeah, this is going to be a Titanic battle to the end, because of course this is the last lap, remember? So they haven't got much more time, and Eterno, he's only, 9/10 a second behind now. So Hayden really needs at least one of these two to get a penalty, otherwise it's the race a top 8 over as Bottascan comes through to win the race by 9 seconds, which is ridiculous.
Excuse me,
And
7, because here comes Pelota to break it down to
yes.
7. They are still going though, Bika and Hayden. This is going to be all the way to the very end. I mean, Hayden's fighting for nothing effectively because this 2-second penalty he's got will just cause him to drop down to P9 right outside of the reverse grid order. But it is going to be Bika.
Oh.
They are literally rubbing. They're going to go towards the line. Oh my word, that was very close to being a murder there. Hayden tried to cover the line, but it was very much almost too aggressive. But still. Hayden P9, Joe Turno gets P8, and they will be reversed when we get into the sprint race. Turno will start on pole. However, I just want to quickly check. Yes, Bottas Gang is on track for his second perfect weekend.
Insane.
The issue he's going to have, though, is he needs a crazy good start, because obviously he's starting in P8. On top of that, then, he also needs to try and find his way through the grid on this track, which is like we keep repeating, because I want to stress it is a very, very difficult job to overtake on the circuit. And you know, Bottas Gang is going to need to show a different level of driving today.
Yeah, and of course, if he gets a penalty, that will significantly hinder his chances, as he probably won't get another 9-second lead this time, as Tortor gets driver of the day in this race, interestingly.
Yeah, I mean, he started pretty far back, if I remember correctly. I will double check in just a second as to exactly where he started, but you know, fair play to him to achieve what he did. Yeah, P9 up to P4, so good run from him then to achieve what he did. Kind of the opposite for Bika. He fell from P3 to P7, so not the best run. He did get disconnected, in fairness, not entirely his fault. He did, however, keep it clean, whereas Bottas Gang, who, yes, he got the win, and yes, he gets the fastest lap, and is on track to get the perfect weekend overall, he did get himself a 2-second penalty, which meant, and sadly, it was a 9.2 second lead. It drops to 7.2, which is just insane stuff. So fair play to him for getting that race win. Piloto Pai getting P2, with Lando's Milton getting P3. Toto getting P4 and driver of the day, with Marquez in P5. Foxy P6, Beaker P7, Aoturno P8, and the top 8 will be flipped and reversed. So remember, Aoturno will now start the sprint race in pole position, whereas the rest of the grid, Hayden Gullis, Markin, Tiger Jr., WG Players, Ravenduck, Matt, and Kulmanik, will all start exactly as they are, 9-10, all the way down to P15. Our only DNFers were Matt and Kulmanik. It was down to a little bit of a collision that was a bit of a mistake, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, not the end of the world at all. Again, every driver here has a chance to recover any poor performances in this coming sprint race, but of course this is the one with less points, so they would have been hoping for a better result in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, also remember, you know, the top 8 are the ones that score points in this sprint race. And like you say, it is for reduced points. I think it's 15 points down. So it's still as a normal point scoring system, but it counts from sort of P3 down, if that makes sense, from what you get in your normal feature race. So 15, 12, 10, etc., etc. Also to note, obviously, yes, it is 25%, but it is still a sprint race, so it's less laps than the feature race. I think we're going to be looking at around about 7 laps here. I could be wrong. So still a lot to do, not a lot of time to do it in, especially if your name is Bottas Gang. To get yourself through the grid cleanly, and you need to achieve the fastest lap in order to get the perfect weekend, this is not an easy task. But I think if anybody can do it, it's going to be him.
Yeah, I was about to say, surely if anyone could do it, it'd be the guy who's already done it once on one game, and now he has a chance to do it on this game in this season. And it would surely put him, if there's ever a Hall of Fame in F2, he'd surely be at the top of that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I actually saw his time trial earlier. Like I said, you know, he was right next to David Tanitsa, so that says something. He's basically, in the F2s at least, he's dueling with the F1 esports drivers, so that is a big, big name for him to hold on to, and fair play to him, he deserves it.
Yeah, and the fact that we have someone like that just in the F2 division just proves how competitive all the drivers that we have racing on Saturdays is, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Joe Eterno and Bika are both wanting to get straight underway with this Grand Prix. They are not waiting around whatsoever. Foxy is kind of falling back a little bit. He's staying in line. Marquez, who's up there with Bika and Eterno, but I think they're realizing the rest of the grid, or Bika's realizing the rest of the grid isn't actually closing in here, and our tires are going to be freezing when we get to that start line. As I believe that is, yeah, Marken and Tiger Jr., they have both been reset to the grid. Oh, Beaker. Interesting. Just hard braking there on that straight.
Yeah. Also, just want to point something quickly out. Look how far behind everyone else Hayden is.
Where is
He's
Hayden?
keeping his distance.
Yeah,
Well, he's closing up now, but...
He realizes, I think... I don't think he's had a mistake. I think he's just backed right off because he needs temperature in the tyres. To go from P9 to anywhere is going to be really difficult. But you know what? I have faith in my boy, Hayden. Do me proud.
Yeah. But I was about to say, maybe he was staying so far back to try and give everyone else slightly colder tyres, and then he has the best tyres of anyone on the grid, so hopefully give him a better start.
Well, yeah, he needs it, let's be honest. He really, really could do with it right now. So we'll see then how this one goes down as we're coming into the grid boxes once more. You gave me a 1, 2, 3, and you were not far off, aside from Beaker's disconnect. But where do you think we're going to be when it comes to the end of this GP?
For the drama, I think I'll say Bottas Gang for the win. I want to see that happen. For second, I'm going to put my faith in Miguel. I'm going to say Beaker can actually keep his second this time. And I'm actually going to say, this is a bold call, I'm going to say Aeterno for third.
Oh, he's already got away there. That was a very quick lights out. And actually, I think Aeterno is going to be losing out here because it looks like Beaker's had a fantastic start. Yes, he has. He's right up there. He has taken off. Joe Aeterno has fallen down the order. And here he comes in towards turn one. There's contact. That was Marquez, I believe. It's just got rotated there. He's falling down like a stone. Yes, he has. More contact happening as well up ahead. That is Matt and Ravendog. Matt has just clipped Marquez off the track as well. He's having a bit of a scary rejoin there. Aeterno has fallen so far back in comparison to where he started. He's not actually P11, I believe. No, he's P2 if you look at the track map. Foxy is P1.
I don't think either of us expected that to be said today, did we?
I don't know what happened to Beaker because he had a fantastic start and then suddenly it was nothing.
I believe he disconnected again. Oh.
Feels sad for him, but we need to go back up to a few, actually quite close up. There's a bit of scrapping going on there. There's Mark and Landos Miltman. Matt has had to cut the corner. Here comes Ravenduck around the outside as well. He's trying to stick it through. This is very, very scruffy stuff. And Ravenduck's been clipped, but he's caught the car. Matt has gone off the track and he's brought himself back on again in P10. Oh. And that is Marquez getting rotated, I believe, by Beaker. And that is a disaster for those two.
Beaker just went for a huge lunge at turn 4. Not turn 4, sorry, the left-hander. Don't know where turn 4 came from. But yeah, he just went for a very big lunge, has rotated both of them, and that's any chance of points surely out the window. Look
at Bottas, gang, up in P4. Joe Eterno's just had a bit of a back-end kick out there. Toto is going to close in quite nicely on him. He's not going to get the move done just yet. We are only on lap 2, despite what it says on the left-hand side, and DRS is not yet enabled. However, Bottas gang up in P4 means great stuff for him. He's had contact with Toto, but I don't think he saw that Toto getting rotated. That looked like it was desync once more. And Toto's getting surrounded.
Yeah, there seems to be a few incidents of desync. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of contact with Piloto and all. Look at Hayden!
Yeah, he's trying to bring this one right back into him, and he has to back out. That was a bit scary for him, but a P5 was looking good, and maybe even a P4, especially if... So I think it's down to Toto's connection that's causing him these issues. He's actually had a time penalty issued to him for running a bit wide there. And this again, looking at the P3, Bottas gang has obviously made work on Toto, but he's actually looking now for Joe Eterno.
Yeah. And Toto actually had connection issues in a league race he had last night, so it seems those are still preventing him. Matt gets another penalty. But yeah, I believe it is just internet connections. And look at Bottas gang, he's already caught up to the top 2.
Yeah, he is very, very fired up. He wants to get the achievement once more. I mean, getting a perfect weekend once is hard enough. Getting it twice is insane. This guy is phenomenal in these F2 cars. Beaker looked like he was going to be uncontested for quite a while. Suddenly, he's being contested once more. As here we go then round the final corner. And I think we're going to be seeing a couple of overtakes. Now we're on lap 3. Now DRS is enabled, but it's not going to be here for the opening lap. And Bottas gang has got the fastest lap locked into his pocket for now. Can anybody beat him as he comes round the outside here in towards turn 1? Joe is going to have to go a little bit tight to the inside here. Running out wide just a touch. Bottas gang, surely he cannot pull this one off. This is going to have to be a lunge in towards turn 2. Hard braking zone needed. Can't quite get it in. And Beaker takes the fastest lap away from Bottasgang as Joey Logano is still under pressure.
Yeah, Bottasgang, he's now moving to the outside. Is he really going to get... No, he's stepping... I was about to say that would have been very scary if he actually went for that. Yeah, so back. He knows he has the pace to get past. He knows he doesn't need to rush.
There's also a bit of a scrap going on down there in P12, P11 territory as Beaker is fighting with Marquez once more. Marquez is going to back out because he really wants to keep his wing intact considering what happened to him earlier. You also have Tiger Jr. just at the back of this fight watching it all unfold, but we'll stay as we are for now. Bottasgang is a little bit concerned that Foxy is pulling away now.
And if Interno actually holds Bottasgang up enough, then they're going to be over a second behind, and then Bottasgang, he'll still probably be able to catch up and overtake Foxy, but he'll just delay him a bit further, delay the inevitable.
Well, this is the thing. This is a very short race. 7 laps is all that we have. If that is the case, then, you know, Bottasgang is just going to be having to push that a little bit harder. So here he is then, coming onto the home straight. The gap is much closer between him and Logano. This should be a much easier move now. They both have DRS. Bottasgang's looking for the inside. Joe may cover off at the last second, but he hasn't quite got the chance. So it's going to be a late braking zone here for Bottasgang. Coming in towards turn 1, he's going to have to get the exit of Dreams. He has done it before. Can he do it again? Yes, he can. Bit of a squash there between him and Logano. Bottasgang's up to P2. The Dream is alive.
It really is alive. Looking at half a second off Foxy. Surely he's going to get this done, surely.
I'm a believer, but I've jinxed people enough times. I'm not saying a word now. Hayden Gullis up in P6. He does have to close in a lot more onto Tortor and the rest of them ahead, but the train is quite narrow, so he should still be able to gain a place or two. He's definitely gaining 1 from Tortor due to the penalty. That's unless that gap extends any further. Going back up to the front runners then. Bottasgang already on the gearbox here of Foxy, but a bit of a backhand kick out means he will lose a smidgen of time, but immediately right back on it once more.
And that's potentially the one thing that could cost Bottasgang the perfect weekend here, is either a penalty or a spin or just any kind of mistake that costs him time. That is pretty much the only thing that can stop him, you would think. I mean, Atona's still within a second, but I don't think we're really expecting him to mount a challenge in these last few laps.
Well, here's the other thing. Getting past Foxy is one thing, but then he has to set a fastest lap. So he needs to use this now. The fact that he's got such a good run coming out the final corners, Foxy just hasn't. There's the DRS, there's the toe. Bottasgang will take the race lead here in Hungary in the final of the F2 races. But he not only has to do this, he has to survive the dive that's coming in from Foxy. Bit of a send here from him, but around the outside goes Bottasgang. Still locks in the position. Despite Foxy's best efforts, Bottasgang will take the lead. He has to get the fastest lap now in order to get the perfect weekend.
Yeah, he's just going to try and rocket away now, isn't he? If he can get over a second ahead of Foxy by the end of the lap, he'll at least have 1 or 2 more goes at getting it. He's slightly slow in the first sector.
Yeah, Kolmanik and Hayden Gullis just had a bit of a moment there between the two of them coming through turn 4. They're still going at it! Oh, a bit of contact between them, but nothing too severe. That was a very quick reactions there from... Oh, hey, Turner's just sent one on Foxy. He had to mount the curb in order to achieve it, but he's done it. And we're just going back to Kolmanik and Hayden Gullis once more. They are still scrapping, but they are losing so much time that Tortor's penalty now means nothing.
I don't know if he needs to try and pull away from Kolmanik or maybe even let him through and just use him to pull up to his top 5 because now, look, it's also Peloto, who we haven't talked much about, and Foxy all in this scrap for second. If they battle enough, Hayden can get back within that 2-second range.
Yeah, he hasn't got a lot of time to do it in there, that's the thing. He's on 2.1 now, it's just jumped up to 2.4 once more. Bottasgang then, has he done what he needed to do? Can he get the fastest lap? Yes, he can. That's in his pocket. That was a beautiful run, 28.370. So now, can anybody snatch that away from him? That's the only way to take away the perfect weekend as Fox is looking to get the inside here on Joe Logano. It's actually going to be Peloto Paya going to get a better exit through turn 1. But DRS being enabled for both of them means that surely he's not going to get this position. Not without a huge yeet down the inside. And he's opted out of it.
Oh, he's gone for it there, though. Very nearly rotating the car. Keeps it nice and forward. Foxy's had a nice exit on the Interno. Nowhere near enough to think we'll move those. So I think next straight could be the end of this battle, though Foxy's had a bad line. Will Peloto look? No, not quite. So yeah, I think we're going to have to wait till the main straight next lap to see how this battle prevails.
Now remember, if Bottasgang pulls this off, we are literally witnessing RNL history here. No one has ever achieved a perfect weekend besides Bottas Gang, and he's about to do it twice. This guy is phenomenal in these F2 cars. I think we are looking at the GOAT of F2s.
The Lewis Hamilton of F2s, you could say.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, whatever you want to call him, he's looking at it.
And he's actually going quicker on this lap as well.
Yeah, I think he's more cementing this in there then, isn't he, really? He's trying to get himself a very nice low 28s, high 27s, like even lower 28. My word, 210s faster. What more do you need as we come on to the final lap then? Foxy is a bit too far back for Joey Eterno. Toto is kind of ready to go on Piloto, but not quite got the line he needs in towards turn 1, so he's going to have to get the exit of Dreams here. Foxy runs a bit deep. Here comes Piloto. This could be a move then if he can get the exit better than Foxy did. Not quite. We saw him go for an inside look down the inside last lap, and he's not going to do it this time either.
No, okay. Do you think there's going to be any sort of last lap dive soon, or do you think everyone's just going to keep position?
Nah, absolutely going to see a last lap dive. I think Piloto Pai is going to be the first one to try it because he's already looking to get moved on Foxy, but there's just no way through. Again, this is a very difficult track to overtake. A lot of it has to be done on the home straight, which in the F1 cars, once you deploy the overtake button, it's very difficult for anybody to actually successfully overtake you. That was a huge corner cut there from Foxy. I don't know how he didn't get a penalty there.
Surely a warning.
Yeah, it's got to be. Oh, who's that? That was
that's Toto.
Yeah, back end kick out hard there.
And look who's just gone within 2 seconds of him.
Yeah. Hayden Gullis. I mean, he needs those ahead. Foxy's already been on the limit of getting a penalty already a few times, surely. There's no way he hasn't. But Bottas Gang then coming through the final corner to achieve for the second time ever, both done by him. 2 perfect weekends achieved. Bottas Gang gets the win here in Hungary. Ayrton will come over in P2. Foxy P3. Piloto Pai P4. Toto crosses the line in P5, but it's going to be Hayden who'll snatch that away from him due to the penalty. Kulmanik P7. Landos Milkman will get the final point here, and Raven Duck will come across the line in P9 with a bit of a damaged wing. At least he finishes.
Yeah. And not only was that the second time he's got the perfect weekend, Bottas Gang, he also set another fastest lap at the end, a 28.0.
That's just rubbing salt in the wound, that is, isn't it? That is all that is right there. I mean, fair play to him. This has been a fantastic show from Bottas Gang to achieve what he's done. I didn't think we were ever going to see it. There were so many times I thought Beaker could do this, Piloto could do this, and he came so close to it, but never actually achieved what I thought would be achieved. But Bottas Gang, absolute machine in these F2s. WG Players is playing Tokyo Drift, it looks like.
Yep, just enjoying himself. He's 30 seconds back. He may as well make the most of it on those soft tyres.
Yeah, well, here he is then to finish this Grand Prix. And that is all she wrote for the F2 cars. My word, that's a really good setup now for the F1s. I think we're going to be seeing an absolute blast of a Grand Prix in the F1s.
Absolutely, and driver of the day as well. How about that?
Driver of the day, driver of the weekend, I think. Absolutely phenomenal drive there from him. Very well deserved podium celebration and the trophy. Look at that. Perfect weekend times 2. Imagine saying that. He's going to be sticking that on his Twitter bio later. This guy's insane. But this is how it all fares off when he comes to the end of the weekend results. 48 points. That's the most anyone can achieve, and that's the maximum that Bottas Gang has got this weekend. Piloto Pai P2, Foxy P3, Landos Milman P4, Toto P5, Ayrton P6 with Marquez P7, Hayden Gullis getting P8 with Beaker P9, Kulmanik P10, Markin P11, and then tied with 0 points is Ravenduck, WG Plays, Tiger Jr., and Matt. I'm going to ask you, but I'm pretty sure we already know who it's going to be. Who's your driver of the day?
It's got to be Bottas Gang.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and that's it for the F2 cars. Thank you for joining me, staff, in the commentary box. But don't go anywhere, guys and girls. We'll be getting underway with the F1 races in just a few moments.